Morning everyone. I was rather puzzled to be asked to come along to this because and my daughters were even more astonished when I told them I was addressing a social media event, because I'm not even in Facebook. Well, I am now, because my mischievous daughters put a picture of me, a daft picture on the site, and put in some blurb about me that I haven't yet learned how to take down. I basically focus on LinkedIn. I've been a freelance journalist for 25 years, and basically the whole industry that I was involved in is going down an existential crisis, and it's very, very hard now to make your living as a freelance journalist. It was interesting listening to Jeremy there. Those of you who buy the Sunday Times will know that the Sunday Times used to cover Scotland much better than it does now. There's been sackings, redundancies right through the whole sector. In the past, this was good news for freelancers, but it's no longer the case. Freelancers are losing their work everywhere. So I decided what I'd do is set up my own online business newspaper. I developed a specialism in commercial property as a journalist. Sounds rather dull and arcane, but in fact commercial property is as big as oil and gas combined, yet it receives very scant coverage in the media. So I've been specialising in that. I decided to set up a website covering that. I was hoping that that would be enough, that I wouldn't need to get too involved in all this social media stuff. However, I quickly became convinced that LinkedIn had the kind of involvement that I wanted to have for my site. So what was in my mind was, how can I set up a community? Because if you're going to be a freelance journalist at the moment, there's no point in setting up an ordinary news site. The BBC will simply blow you out of the water. They cover everything so well worldwide. So you have to come up with your specialism, and I knew mine was commercial property. I then decided that journalism has always been, while it's in print, it's always been a top-down thing. We the journalists are the sort of priesthood. We decide what the stories are, we put them on the pages, you the reader buy our papers, and we have decided what it is you will get to know about. And I could see that online offered a completely different way of doing that. And since I wanted to specialise in people engaged in commercial property, and to be frank, I'm not really interested in getting hits from other people, then I wanted to encourage them not only to read my stuff, but to contribute to the paper as well, creating more of a community, creating less of a top-down thing, and in a way saving me time, because if your readers write for you, that saves me the time that's required to find the stories myself. So that's where I've got to with it. The site gets more than 1,000 hits a day in a highly specialist sector. It's called Comprop Scotland. It's a very important lesson in that. If you're ever setting up your own online newspaper with partners, don't turn up late for the meeting where you're going to decide what the name of the paper is going to be. Because I did, and at that time I had 3 other partners. So Comprop Scotland, short for Commercial Property Scotland, but it's certainly not the name I'd have chosen. But there we are, I was stuck with it. And gradually, one by one, partners for different reasons dropped out. And I decided, mainly because we couldn't make enough money out of it. That was the key reason most dropped out. But I thought, well, there's just one left, which is me. There must be a market in this. So I decided to push on with it myself. Now what I focused on in LinkedIn was finding people in commercial property, linking with them, and then finding another group of people. They're public relations people and they're marketing people. And those are the key people I've focused on LinkedIn. And what I now do is, on the status thing in LinkedIn, I can put up my latest headlines and I can see the hits going up if the headline's good enough to attract people. And also a form of crowdsourcing. I can put it out so that the public relations people know that I'm doing a feature on offshore renewables, as I was asked recently to cover. And they start to send me information, send me details about their clients, their specialisms, and their knowledge. So it's a way of sharing the knowledge, making life easier for me, because it's quite feasible to write 12 hours a day on your own online newspaper. Any of you who've ever tried some serious writing will know it takes a lot longer to write stuff than you might anticipate. And so what I'm using it for is a form of crowdsourcing, tapping into access to other people's thoughts and their knowledge. And so far, that has worked very well. I now want to take it on to another stage, and it needs, my own view is the site needs more personality anyway, so I need to get one of these rather humorous diaries into it. But again, I'll be relying on people to send me photographs of the managing director falling into a bog during some hike across Scotland, raising funds for charity and such like. But I also want to start giving people tips, because the readers are all business people, giving them tips on how to write better for business. Now that's not just to help them, it will be of help to them, I would hope, but it's also because I offer courses in that, and it's a way of expanding my income range. Similarly, I want to blog more often about what's going on in the media, what the current media trends are, or commenting on issues like the whole News of the World scandal and that kind of thing. Again, giving people a different insight into what's going on. And in a way that's entirely different from the way the media was, the way newspapers were when I first started 25 years ago, when it was that top-down thing. And I've still got quite a long way to go before compropscotland.com is making me money. But I'm determined that it will make me money by attracting enough people, because we've got all that extra stuff on it. But at the same time, it will be plugging the other sectors of my business, the courses that I offer on what makes a story, and courses I offer on how to write better for business. And that's it, it's LinkedIn only. And maybe having listened to one or two people earlier, I really will have to get into Twitter, but maybe it's an age thing, it just doesn't appeal somehow, but I'm going to do that. I've come along today, so I'm here to learn as much as everyone else. So, okay, I'll be around later for a chat if you wish.